COVID-19 new high of 317 cases recorded today. Movement control order will not be reimposed. Good evening, I'm Cynthia Arthur. You're watching News at 10. The Health Ministry has reported another 317 new COVID-19 cases today, a new daily record in Malaysia. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said all 317 cases are local transmissions involving 303 Malaysians and 14 immigrants.
Daripada 317 kes tersebut, sebanyak 37 kes merupakan pengunjung yang pulang dari Sabah. Ini menjadikan jumlah kes dilaporkan mempunyai sejarah perjalanan ke negeri Sabah sejak 20 September 2020 sebanyak 176 kes.
Meanwhile, Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham also reported one new death case, bringing the total number of COVID-19 fatalities to 137. The patient, case 10,939, was a 57-year-old man who was admitted to Sampurna Hospital before being referred to Tawau Hospital on the 24th of September. The Health DG also reported that Malaysia now has 1,735 active cases, where 29 patients were treated in intensive care units, with 4 who require the use of ventilators. He also reported that 121 patients have recovered and been discharged from hospital today. Meanwhile, Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham said the Health Ministry has discovered another 3 new clusters. He said Bah Lunas and Bah Ros clusters were discovered in Kedah, while Jelok cluster was discovered in Selangor.
Kluster Bah Lunas Kedah ialah kluster baru yang dikalang pasti di Kulim Kedah. Kes indeks kluster ini ialah kes ke 11,471. Adalah seorang lelaki warga negara Malaysia berumur 35 tahun yang pulang dari kawasan berisiko negeri Sabah. Beliau dikesan positif pada 30 September 2020 dan dimasukkan ke Hospital Sultanah Bahiyah Kedah.
Meanwhile, Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham explained that the Bah Ros cluster was discovered in Kuala Muda and the index case also had history of travelling to Sabah. He said a total of 477 close contacts were screened, involving 81 individuals in Kedah and 396 in Pulau Pinang. The other cluster, dubbed Jelok cluster, was discovered in Selangor. The Health DG said the index case of the cluster, a 27-year-old man, was admitted to Sungai Buloh Hospital for further treatment. The National Security Council (NSC) has decided that the Movement Control Order (MCO) will not be reimposed in the country. Senior Minister for Security, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, said despite the new daily cases have reached triple digits for the past few days, the government will only enforce targeted MCO in high-risk areas.
Dan saya dah katakan, takkan ada mungkin kosong di seluruh negara. Kerana seperti saya kata, COVID-19 ini masih lagi berada di sekeliling kita. Besok lusa mungkin ada orang lain akan kena COVID-19 ini. Jadi kalau kita 1-2 kes kita nak lock seluruh negara, sampai bila pun negara kita, negeri-negeri dan sebagainya tidak boleh dibuka. Kerana PKP akan terus dikenakan di seluruh negara kerana 1-2 kes ini. Jadi sebab itulah belum lagi.
Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri urged the people to not panic but not to take the current COVID-19 situation lightly either. Taking the number of new cases in Kedah, which was 129 yesterday, he said 128 were from the Tembok cluster, most of it limited to prison officers and detainees. Due to that, he asked the public to not panic but reminded them to remain vigilant and adhere to the Standard Operating Procedures (SOP). He said until a vaccine is found, the virus is still around us and everyone must exercise a high level of self-control to help prevent the virus from spreading. The government has agreed to increase the number of assets and personnel of Malaysian security team involving Armed Forces, Royal Malaysia Police and Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency in efforts to intensify border control in the east coast of Sabah. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the decision was made considering the spike of COVID-19 cases in the state, which mostly consist of illegal immigrants. According to Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri, the illegal immigrants were apprehended and isolated in the immigration depot.
Kita difahamkan ada kedapatan mereka yang ditahan mempunyai kad pengenalan. Bagi mereka yang mempunyai kad pengenalan, kita juga tidak bebaskan mereka. Walaupun kita tidak boleh menahan mereka, tetapi kita akan meletakkan mereka di pusat kuarantin dan akan dikuarantin selama 14 hari. Jadi keputusan ini kita buat memandangkan kes daripada negara jiran yang meningkat dan Kemasakan Parti telah memberikan kesan kepada pengawalan COVID-19 di pantai timur Sabah.
The senior minister also reported that 21 illegal immigrants, 1 tekong and 2 smugglers were detained in Op Benteng yesterday. In the operation, the authorities also seized 10 land vehicles. In a related development, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the operating hours of restaurants, eateries, retail and convenience stores in Sabah will be limited from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. The senior minister said the decision was made based on proposal from the Sabah state government in an effort to curb the spread of the virus. Previously, the government has also implemented Administrative Enhanced Movement Control Order (EMCO) in 4 districts, namely Tawau, Lahad Datuk, Semporna and Kunak.
Walaupun tidak ada PKPP atau PKPD, tidak ada PKPD di daerah-daerah lain selain pada 4 itu, kita perketatkan dari segi SOP yang kita kontrol dari segi masa. Contoh, waktu operasi stesen minyak sekarang ini adalah di antara 6 pagi hingga 8 malam. Waktu operasi pasar harian di antara 6 pagi hingga 2 petang saja. Yang manakala pasar-pasar malam, pasar tani yang lain semuanya dibenarkan tetapi dengan SOP yang lebih ketat.
Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri explains that foreign leaders with ministerial level are the only ones allowed to enter the country for official work purposes. He also said that all foreign delegations must be tested 3 days before coming to Malaysia and tested again once they reach the international terminal.
Dan mereka akan terus dibawa ke penginapan masing-masing. Tidak boleh ke tempat lain, direct ke penginapan masing-masing. Dan jika mereka datang untuk bermesyuarat misalnya, terus dibawa ke tempat mesyuarat, dan selepas habis mesyuarat, kalau tidak ada apa-apa lagi, mereka terus balik ke negara mereka. Dan kedatangan mereka bukan melalui commercial flight ataupun penerbangan komersial, tetapi penerbangan sewa khas ataupun chartered flight, yang mana mereka ketua delegasi dengan rombongan mereka saja yang boleh ada percampuran di dalam pesawat sehinggalah selesai mesyuarat dan sebagainya.
The senior minister also said that Malaysian leaders are also allowed to go out of the country, provided that they must undergo the swab test and the mandatory 14-day home quarantine upon their return. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has assured that the government remains committed to curb the spread of COVID-19 in the country. After chairing the National Security Council meeting this morning, the Premier said the situation is still under control and urged all Malaysians to remain calm. The Premier explained that most new cases detected were among those isolated in prison and being put under Targeted Enhanced Movement Control Order, TEMCO, as well as those identified under COVID-19 clusters. He said all of these active cases are currently being treated and contact tracing activities are being actively conducted. Tan Sri Muhyiddin also assured that the government is prepared to manage COVID-19 outbreak. In related development, the Prime Minister said the COVID-19 outbreak in Sabah was caused by the number of undocumented migrants entering the country unauthorized. He said he was so informed during the Special National Security Council MKN special meeting that he chaired this morning. As such, he said the government has decided that all illegal immigrants who have been arrested been screened and placed in the temporary detention centres that are available. Tan Sri Muhyiddin added that the government is also opening up new quarantine centres to place these illegal immigrants before deporting them back to their home country. After a 2-hour disruption, the Penang Hills funicular train service has resumed. Penang Hill Corporation, PHC, said their funicular trains operation team had resolved the system error and the train service resumed at 3:55 p.m. Earlier this afternoon, it was reported that some 150 visitors were left stranded at Penang Hills Middle Station after the funicular train service experienced a malfunction. PHC in a statement said it sincerely apologized for the inconvenience caused. The Paya Terbong Fire and Rescue Department was alerted about the incident at 2:30 p.m. Several jeeps were deployed to ferry those stranded to safety. Operation Officer Nur Zahidi Ahad said they received information from one of those stranded that the funicular train experienced disruption at the middle station. On the 21st of December last year, hours after Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah, Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Aziza Amina Maimuna Iskandaria and other VIPs visited the hill. The funicular train service also experienced a malfunction. Some were stranded for more than 3 hours before they were brought down safely from the hill via jeeps and buses. King has expressed his concern over the disruption of the funicular train services then, which left more than 900 visitors stranded. Over 10,000 cybercrimes reported since 2019. The Communications and Multimedia Ministry will continue to improve the safety of broadband in effort to combat cybercrime. Its Deputy Minister, Dato' Zahidi Zainul Abidin, said this must be done after more than 10,000 cybercrime cases that involved scams and personal data leaks were recorded since 2019.
Tahun ini saja 933. Pada tahun maknanya kalau kita laporan tentang laporan polis dan sebagainya, tahun sudah saja ada 10,700 kes. Banyak kes yang kerajaan perlu memikirkan untuk menjaga, membantu rakyat supaya data mereka tak kena curi.
Earlier, Dato' Zahidi, who is also a Padang Besar Member of Parliament, officiated the Digital Entrepreneur Program organised in collaboration with Telekom Malaysia at Alor Tampang Kemas Hall near Padang Besar, Perlis. Also present were the State Information and Communication Technology Committee Chairman, Rosiana Ahmad, and TM Northern Region Head, Dato' Roslan Mohammed. More than 7 million Tenaga Nasional Berhad TNB customers will continue to enjoy between 2 to 50% electricity tariff discounts until this December. TNB Chief Retail Officer Megat Jalaluddin Megat Hassan said this is an extension of the economic stimulus discount from March under the People's Concerned Economic Stimulus Package Prihatin introduced by the government. Megat Jalaluddin said TNB supports the government's efforts to reduce the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the people and the steps taken to help the people adjust to the current economic situation. He said this discount extension initiative by the government prioritizes those who are in need due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He explained that among the discounts included were 50% discount for electrical usage between 1 to 200 kilowatt or until 43 ringgit 60 cents and 25% discount for electrical usage between 201 to 300 kilowatt or 43 ringgit 70 cents to 77 ringgit. To support the government's efforts, he said TNB is also continuing with the following 3 initiatives for the benefit of residential consumers until the end of this year. They are the easy payment plan, late payment surcharge exemption, and postponement of supply cutting activities, exception being applications from registered users and instructions from the authorities. Plus, Malaysia has called on its staff and customers to strictly observe health and safety protocols to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmissions, as 1.5 million vehicles ply its network of highways across 7 states. Its Managing Director, Dato' Azman Ismail, said the standard operating procedure (SOP) imposed by the authorities should be strictly observed in view of the very high traffic volume and the increasing number of COVID-19 cases in the country. In a statement today, he advised road users to wear face masks at all times and strictly observe the 1 meter social distancing order when at R&R rest and service areas, stopovers, and when interacting with Plus customer service assistants. Apart from checking temperature, Plus has made it mandatory for customers to utilize the MySejahtera contact tracing application when stopping over at its facilities. Dato' Azman said cleanliness at the food courts and the entire R&R premises, stopovers and plaza tolls is also emphasized, where routine scheduled cleaning and sanitizing exercises are carried out. He said Plus will step up surveillance to ensure the safety and comfort of frontliners, customers and business partners. He said every Plus staff, from customer service assistants to Plus Ronda personnel to toll plaza supervisors, must strictly observe the SOP. Customers who fail to wear face masks would be denied entry or barred from making any transactions. Dato' Azman added, everyone should observe the new normal culture to reduce the risk of contracting COVID-19. Malaysia has reaffirmed its commitment to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty (NPT) in bringing states parties together towards achieving the goal of a world free of nuclear weapons. Foreign Minister Dato' Sri Hishamuddin Hussein said despite the challenging security environment and the current greatest challenge of COVID-19, the persistence in pursuing nuclear disarmament must remain. According to Dato' Sri Hishamuddin, the status quo of a world with nuclear weapons was unacceptable and unsustainable, and the responsibility was on all to realize the objective of a nuclear weapon-free world. He said the international law and multilateral approaches to disarmament need to be strengthened, adding that the security for all can only be guaranteed by the total elimination of nuclear weapons. He explained that the entry into force of the treaty strengthens the global norms against nuclear weapons, sends a clear message that nuclear weapons are categorically unacceptable, and complements the existing international legal instruments relating to nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation. He said the NPT remains the cornerstone of the international nuclear disarmament and non-proliferation architecture. So far, a total of 46 countries have ratified the treaty. Coming up in sports, Super League champions JDT say time to step up on international stage. Stay with us. After winning the Super League for 7 consecutive times, Johor Darul Ta'zim JDT feel it is a time to soar higher by gaining honours on the international stage. JDT coach Benjamin Mora just could not resist the challenge, although he knows the stakes are higher. However, he said JDT could build on their excellent performance in the local professional league to step up and take on the big boys of international football.
We had an objective, we had a responsibility to end home the last game of the league with a good performance, with the 3 points, with mental toughness and with authority, dignity, and of course knowing that the logo we carry is very, very heavy.
He said this in a press conference after they beat Sabah 4-1 at Sultan Ibrahim Stadium, Iskandar Putri last night. The victory assured the Southern Tigers of their 7th straight Super League title since 2014, although they still have one last match to play. Last night's match was also an emotional one for the team, as Safawi Rashid departs for Portugal tonight to join Portimonense SC playing in the Primeira Liga, the top flight of the Portuguese football. Mora said Safawi's impending move overseas would be good for his career. Safawi's new club, who began the 2020 Primeira Liga campaign with 1 draw and 1 defeat, faced Sporting on Sunday. Pulau Pinang clinched the 2020 Premier League title after crushing Kelantan United FC 4-0 at the City Stadium in Georgetown last night. It was the Black Panthers' maiden win in the league since it was introduced in 2004, following a goalless draw in the Kuala Lumpur versus Perak 2 game in the Manjung Municipal Council Stadium that was held concurrently. Coach Manzur Azwira Abdul Wahid described the success as an outstanding achievement and as a special gift to the squad's supporters. The win, he said, is a bonus to the team, as the initial target was to qualify for the next season's Super League. As for the final act against Terengganu FC 2 on the 9th of October, Manzur Azwira foresees more opportunities for the younger players to show their mettle after taking into account injuries and those suspended. He also hoped for a positive outcome in the match to complement the upcoming official announcement of them as champions of the Premier League. Meanwhile, Manzur Azwira said the squad's focus now is shifting to the Malaysia Cup, scheduled to kick off on the 17th of October. With 1 match left, Pulau Pinang now lead the Premier League by 26 points, followed by Kuala Lumpur in second place with 21 points. Both teams qualified for the 2021 Super League. This evening, in our top story, COVID-19 new high of 317 cases recorded today. Join us tomorrow at 10 p.m. I'm Cynthia Arthur. Thank you for watching.